Welcome to your second mountain. This is episode 6. If you're listening in order, this one builds on the last, and you're exactly where you need to be. Welcome. In this video, we're exploring the one-up and walled-off quadrant through the lens of the Enneagram. This quadrant forms when someone stays safe by being above, by being one-up. So more right, more competent, more prepared, while also cutting off vulnerability, being walled off. In this quadrant, control replaces connection, competence replaces tenderness. The Enneagram types most commonly pulled here under stress are types 1, 3, and 6. Each has a different strategy, but they share the same survival question. How do I stay safe without letting myself be exposed? In this quadrant, the nervous system believes I can't afford to be wrong. If I let my guard down, something bad will happen. And I need to stay ahead or I'll be at risk. So protectors step in. Emotion gets contained, standards rise, and connection becomes conditional. This is not arrogance. It's self-protection shaped by early responsibility, pressure, or instability. Let's look at how this shows up for types 1, 3, and 6, where type 1 is the reformer or perfectionist, type 3 is the achiever, and type 6 is the loyalist. So type 1, the reformer. If you're an Enneagram 1, integrity and responsibility have always mattered deeply. You may have learned early, if I do it right, things won't fall apart. Under stress, this can turn into inner and outer criticism. Rigid rules, black and white thinking, or withholding warmth from yourself and others. In this quadrant, the 1 becomes walled off through control. Vulnerability feels dangerous because it might cause disorder or harm. The 1-up stance shows up as moral authority or judgment, not because you think you're better, but because being wrong once felt costly. The second mountain invitation for type 1s is not to abandon standards, it's to soften into compassion. From center, the 1's gift becomes wise discernment, standards without punishment, leadership without shame, integrity held with humanity. So a gentle practice for 1s this week is when you notice the inner critic, try saying, "Thank you for protecting me. I'm safe enough to be human now." Type 3 is the achiever. If you're an Enneagram 3, success and visibility have always mattered deeply. You learned early how to adapt, perform, and succeed. Your system may have absorbed, if I perform well, I'll be valued. Under stress, this shows up as relentless overwork, image management, emotional detachment, or staying impressive while hiding insecurity. In this quadrant, the 3 becomes walled off through performance. Feelings slow things down. Vulnerability threatens momentum. The 1-up stance shows up as competence, confidence, and achievement, even when the inner world feels disconnected. The second mountain invitation for type 3s is to rest inside being, not doing. From center, the 3's gift becomes embodied inspiration. Authenticity without collapse. Leadership without performance. And presence that doesn't need applause. So a question to sit with this week for 3s is, who am I when no one is watching? And can that be enough? Lastly, in this quadrant is type 6, the loyalist. If you're an Enneagram 6, your nervous system is highly perceptive and alert. You may have learned, if I stay vigilant, I can prevent danger. Under stress, this looks like scanning for risk, second guessing, controlling situations or people, or criticizing to preempt being blindsided. In this quadrant, the 6 becomes walled off through vigilance. Trust feels risky, relaxation feels unsafe. The 1-up stance for 6s shows up as being the authority on what's safe, while vulnerability stays protected behind preparedness. The 6 may oscillate between the 1-up and 1-down, but vigilance remains central. The second mountain invitation for type 6s is to build inner trust, not just external certainty. Inner trust, not just external certainty. From center, the 6's gift becomes grounded courage. So discernment without fear, loyalty without self-doubt, and steadiness without constant scanning. A question to try this week for 6s is, what do I know to be true right now without needing reassurance? So in closing, this quadrant, 1-up and walled off with the 3 types, type 1s, 3s, and 6s, use different strategies: perfection, achievement, and vigilance. But they share the same stance. By being 1-up, you stay ahead through control, competence, or certainty. And by being walled off, you protect softness, your needs, and uncertainty. Healing here is not about dropping your strength. It's about softening into equality, not above, not below, and letting others see you. You don't have to stay armored to be safe anymore. From center, strength and connection can coexist. Welcome back. In this video, we're exploring the 1-up and boundaryless quadrant. This quadrant is about expansion without limits, taking up space through energy, intensity, or momentum as a way to stay safe. The nervous system here believes that slowing down, yielding, or depending on others is dangerous. The Enneagram types most commonly pulled here under stress are types 7 and 8. They look very different. One is light, one is powerful, but they share the same survival question. How do I stay free and unhurt by staying ahead, strong, or in motion? In the 1-up and boundaryless quadrant, the system moves outward when safety is threatened. Instead of withdrawing or collapsing, energy spreads. Ideas multiply, voices get louder, movement increases, presence intensifies. Boundaries blur, not out of malice, but out of urgency. Limits feel like danger, and stillness feels like being exposed. This is not excess for its own sake. It's really about protection through expansion. Let's look how this shows up differently for type 7 and 8. So the type 7 is the enthusiast. If you're an Enneagram 7, aliveness, possibility, and freedom have always mattered deeply. You may have learned early, if I stay positive and moving, I won't feel pain. Under stress, this can show up as restlessness, distraction, overplanning, or filling space with ideas or activity. In this quadrant, the 7 becomes boundaryless through motion. Discomfort gets outrun, depth gets deferred. The 1-up stance comes from believing I can stay ahead of limits, pain, or dependence if I keep going. The second mountain invitation for type 7 is not to dim your light, it's to anchor it. From center, the 7's gift becomes embodied aliveness, joy that can stay present, freedom that includes feeling, and vitality that doesn't require escape. A gentle invitation this week for 7s is, when something uncomfortable arises, pause and stay with it for 3 slow breaths. Notice what happens when you don't move away. For type 8s, the challenger, if you're an Enneagram 8, strength, autonomy, and protection have always mattered deeply. You may have learned, if I stay strong, no one can hurt me. Under stress, this can show up as intensity, control, confrontation, or pushing into situations or people. In this quadrant, the 8 becomes boundaryless through force. Energy expands outward to dominate the field before vulnerability can surface. The one-up stance comes from believing, if I hold power, I won't be harmed. The second mountain does not ask the 8 to give up power. It asks you to soften inside of it. From center, the 8's gift becomes protective leadership. Strength that creates safety. Power that makes room. Authority without armor. Our reflection to try this week for 8s is, what would it feel like to let someone support me? Just a little. So in closing, in the one up and boundaryless quadrant, both type 7 and 8 protect themselves through expansion. The 7 expands to avoid pain. The 8 expands to avoid vulnerability. Both strategies say, I'll stay safe by staying big, fast, or strong. Healing here doesn't mean shrinking. It means slowing, sensing, and respecting limits, your own and others. From center, presence becomes the new power. You don't have to overrun or overpower life to belong in it. Welcome back. In this video, we're going to look at Gretchen Rubin's 4 tendencies and how they connect with Terry Real's quadrants. The 4 tendencies is another type of personality grouping that describes how we respond to expectations. And I like this one because it helps us understand how we respond to our own expectations and other people's, and aligns well with all the other frameworks we've learned. It's a simple, powerful lens for understanding behavior. By linking them to the quadrants, we can see why each tendency shows up the way it does under stress. So let's quickly name the 4 tendencies. They are upholders, obligers, questioners, and rebels. So each of these is a mix of yes or no, whether you meet your own expectations and meet others' expectations. So upholders meet both their inner and outer expectations. Rebels resist both inner and outer expectations, so they meet neither. Obligers meet outer expectations but struggle with inner ones. And questioners is the opposite. They resist outer expectations but meet the inner ones they agree with. So each of the tendencies is a survival strategy, a way of staying safe by relating to rules, structure, and authority. So if we map the tendencies to the quadrants, obligers are really the one down and boundaryless. So this is the types 2 and 9. They say yes when they mean no. They are driven by the needs of others. Their survival map is, if I meet your expectations, maybe I'll be safe. And this overlaps with the abandonment and guilt wounds. Rebels are right above that. They're the one up and boundaryless. So they are the types 7 and 8, the enthusiast and challengers. They resist rules and push back against structure. This is really the autonomy quadrant. Their survival map is, no one can control me. I'll decide. This overlaps with the engulfment wound. The upholders are often one up and walled off. So that's your types 1, 3, and 6, the perfectionist, achiever, and loyalist. They are rigid about rules, and they tend to follow both inner and outer standards. Their survival map is, if I do it right, I'll stay in control. And that can look like perfectionism, and it overlaps with the trust and violation wound. And lastly is the questioners. Well, there's only one quadrant left, which is the one down and walled off, the types 4 and 5, the individualist and investigator. These questioners really move between quadrants. So they resist outer expectations unless they make sense internally. They can go one up when they're dismissive, like prove it, or one down when they're uncertain. Their survival map is, I need to analyze and decide for myself, then I'll be safe. So why does this matter? The 4 tendencies help us see our relationship to expectations, but the quadrants explain the deeper wound underneath. Obligers collapse boundaries to stay connected. Rebels bulldoze boundaries to protect themselves. Upholders wall off to stay in control. And questioners toggle, trying to stay safe by thinking their way through. When you know your tendency and your quadrant, you start to see the deeper pattern and how to recenter in healthy esteem and flexible boundaries. So in closing, take this with you. The 4 tendencies give us language for how we handle rules. The quadrants show us the wound driving the behavior. Together, they give us another way to notice, this is my pattern, and I can choose something different. If this episode resonated, you can download the companion worksheet in the show notes. This series is designed as a starting point, a way to begin understanding your patterns and your inner world. If you'd like more structure and support, you can continue inside the free hub. And if you're ready for deeper work, you can apply to join a small group coaching circle where we do this work in real time together. You can find everything at yoursecondmountain.com. I'll see you in the next episode.